Okay, so I left you with a bit of a cliffhanger from my last video, and I decided just to leave it because I know that as I go along this process, I will definitely perfect things, more and more. And instead of trying to have things be exactly how I want them, I'm just going to go with it. So, as I was meditating and kind of seeing, what message I could get for the collective today or what would interest my audience today, I pulled a card from Colette Baron Reed's Wisdom of the Oracle deck. And she's another one of my favorite Oracle deck writers, and I just think that her stuff is just absolutely magnificent and amazing. I think that the depth that she goes into with her stuff is really profound, and it just speaks to my heart so deeply. So, and I love too that she says that oracle cards are a way for you to look for wisdom and wise guidance, and that they work on synchronicity, which is in a short explanation is meaningful coincidence. And something that I have been noticing more and more in my life, which is just a fabulous thing. And the card that I pulled today doesn't surprise me at all. I'll go into a little personal story. And then I'll get back to the Sacred Rebel card that I pulled on the last video, so we can go into that healing process and really sink into it and complete that. So today will probably be a much shorter video, but I still wanted to pull a card for today, separate from what I did the other day, and then finish up with where we left off the other day. So let me know your comments, what you like, what you didn't like, and I definitely want to say too that this is going to be a space for safety and for us to explore our spiritual selves in ways that are safe and kind and uplifting. And that doesn't mean that we don't have bad days and can't speak about the bad days or our issues or challenges, but really just to have respect for each other and everybody that's on the channel, I think is really important. And of course, if you're liking what you see, feel free to like and subscribe. And I plan to talk about lots of different things on the channel. I've learned so much since I've had my spiritual awakenings, I would say. And an astrologer that I follow, he says spiritual awakenings, which I find, it just tickles my fancy so much because it's definitely something that I can relate to deeply. That's like, you go through all of these different levels of things that happen, and sometimes it just feels downright weird. So, okay, so today's card that I pulled was Here and Now, and I think that it's talking about synchronicity. That the card that I pulled the other day was number 32 too, from the Sacred Rebel deck, and this one, let's see if we can get in a little bit closer here. She's sitting on top of an egg, which looks like a house. She's got wings on down below her with some hearts, carrying a flag, and the signs there say past and future. And this came out in the protection mode, which is upside down. And Colette always says with her stuff, that the protection message is really a sign from the universe that you're being safeguarded and divinely directed. That's something to celebrate, regardless of your topic or question. And really today my guidance, or my question was just, what would be an appropriate topic for my audience today. So I feel like this must be up for some of us, not just myself, and I'll kind of give a story of some things that happened to me yesterday after I read the message. Okay, so the protection message from this, and again, this is the Wisdom of the Oracle cards by Colette Baron Reed. Whenever you find your mind drifting into the past, wondering if things could have or should have been better, or whenever you find yourself longing for good old days, you leak power. The same is true of looking too far ahead and hoping the future will provide you with certainty. Driven by ambition, you might wander too long in a place with no substance and forget that you are here today. The past and future are illusions. Whenever you leave the present moment, you're disconnecting from your inherent power to manifest your reality with true substance. Neither past nor future can give you what you need. Now is all that counts. Come back from those eternities and be here now. All will be well, and miracles will appear as if by magic in perfect timing of spirit. So yesterday, I was out and about and running errands and had a couple things that I really wanted to take care of, and was finding myself what I was considering procrastinating. So I just decided to really just come into my observer self and observe my thoughts and just what was going on, because my inner critic was just so loud, just like, rah, rah, you need to be doing this and you need to be doing this. And I wasn't really feeling well, and I just wanted to come from a different perspective. So I figured, I'll just let this be what it is and kind of see what's coming up. And for myself, when I don't do something in the way that my mind tells me that I should do it, or in a way that I feel like I need to be doing it, my inner critic tends to stand up and be like very noisy and very, very persistent is the word that I'm going to use. Yes, persistent. And I'm just going to shut my phone off here too. I usually keep it on private, so what I realized is that most of the time when I'm procrastinating about something, or what I want to label procrastination, is divine timing. And in that divine timing, if I was just to stay in the present moment and really ask myself, what do I want to do today? Like, what is going to serve my greatest purpose today, and the purpose of the whole, and who I'm trying to help, or who I'm trying to be in service to? What is that place, coming from that place? And I find that when I allow my inner critic to get the best of me, or to rule my thoughts, then I, go down this spiral of negativity, where if I look at things from the perspective of divine timing, all seems to flow properly and to come out perfectly. So I had some items that I was needing to get to somebody yesterday, and didn't take care of it until this morning. And when I spoke with him this morning, had I gotten the information to him when I originally thought that I would have missed out on thousands of dollars, right? So it's one of those things that it's like, okay, it just was like a perfect, time for me to say, okay, Audrey, stay in the present and really honor the divine timing in things. And even though procrastination doesn't necessarily serve us, being in tune with what our desires and free will choices are, and when I'm feeling out of touch or out of tune with wanting to do something or desiring to do something, to stop and be like, okay, am I really procrastinating, or is this really divine timing? Sometimes it's really hard to tell, but I definitely think that from my own experience, I will say that a lot of times when my inner critic comes in and is like, you're procrastinating, it really is something that if I'm waiting, I end up serving myself and the collective in a much larger, broader, more loving and kind way. So that's my little tidbit for today. And then I'm going to go back to the Sacred Rebel card too, that I pulled the other day, which was faith in the process. And again, her vulnerability here and really having faith in the process. And I think this ties in really well with a card that I drew today as well, you know, that be here and now and be in the present, and being in the present always helps us to collect all the gifts and the yumminess that are here that we may miss if we don't allow ourselves to stay here in the present. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to take, I'm going to hold this up here, and I'm going to ask you to take a couple deep breaths. And again, like I said the other day, if you want to breathe deeply down into your belly, act like you're feeling a pitcher of water into the bottom of your belly on your in-breath. And then on your out-breath, just let it be slow and consistent. And really take your time to really breathe deeply in, you know, a couple times, a few times, whatever it is. I feel like whenever I am listening to meditations, and the longer I meditate, the more time I want. So I'm going to give you a couple seconds here to really do another real deep cleansing breath before we get into this healing process for the Faith in the Process card. Deep, deep, deep breath in. And if you can think about filling your belly with air all the way down like you're filling a pitcher of water. And then if you can also expand your rib cage. The more oxygen that we can get into our bodies and our lungs, the more healing we can do for ourselves. And it really is a very, very powerful practice that we can have. Okay. So this is something that we want to say out loud. So I'm going to just say a few words and then give you time to repeat it. And just get yourself real comfortable, real relaxed. Here we go. I ask that all disappointing experiences of the past that have led me to believe that life is not trustworthy, or that faith is a silly or immature way to deal with life, be released from my mind, body, and heart. I really want you to focus on releasing that. Like picture it being released from your mind, your body, and your heart. I ask for help to accept that I can and will attract all that is needed into my life at the perfect time and in the perfect way. I ask to be empowered to absolutely receive all that can assist me with gratitude and without shame or guilt. In doing so, I dedicate myself to be a clear, loving, open channel for the flow of life. I know the benefit in doing so is not limited to me, but will flow so that life can benefit others through me. I trust in this now. Through unconditional love, so be it. Just take another real deep breath, deep down into your belly again. And release it slowly. And if you need to repeat this and come back to this video over the next few days to boost your confidence and allow everything to sort itself out, whether you're feeling in control or not. And the fact is, if a lot of times that we can do so more easily when we don't feel in control. So much of my conditioning was, control, and trying to always steer the bus on everything in my life. And I have really learned in particular over the last several years, how just like releasing that control whenever I can and reminding myself on a regular basis to release that control. And when I do, I find that so many blessings come into my life, and it seems it can be difficult, to start that process of releasing control can be difficult, and it can be hard, or feel challenging, I guess, in ways. But I think the more that I stick with it, and I think the more that you stick with it as well, I think that it gets easier and easier, and then you start finding the synchronicities and ways to be in the present and not having to have things a particular way or the way that you thought that they would be. Okay? Many blessings, lots of love, and I wish you well.